Walk in Atlantic City, New Jersey for the Body Club Atlantic City Pro. Hi, I'm Peter Townend, and joining me today, usually our man on the beach, Jay Reale. He'll be up here today talking to us about the East Coast. Now, Jay, you're from the East Coast. It's actually just down the road here in Ocean City, Maryland, and this is our first ever stop. What do we call this, the Northeast?
That's right. Well, actually, we're in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic region, and it's good to be here. Normally, we go to Florida, and we will be there at our next event, but the wave's usually colder and sometimes bigger, but today it's not the case. But Atlantic City's a colorful town, and we'll see some colorful surfing today.
Well, this is the 9th stop on the Bud Tour, and I'm calling this the home stretch. I mean, down here, we're on the East Coast now. We've got 2 events over here, and then we go to the championship in San Francisco. Who's looking good so far out here on the East Coast?
Well, PT, we're coming into the final 3 events on the tour right now, and it's really tight. Still in the event here today, Shane Beshin looking really good. Also, points leader Mike Parsons doing very well. And something of note is that Matt Archbold now out of the competition. That's going to make things really tight going into Sebastian Inlet next weekend. So the points race shaping up real tight, and the semifinals are going to be great.
Well, we've got a beautiful day here in Atlantic City.
Blind for this, the 1994 Maury Boogie World Bodyboarding Championship. I'm Todd Harris. Joining me is professional bodyboarder Jay Reale. And Jay, we come to the Bonsai Pipeline. We expect big surf, but have you ever seen it this big?
Well, Todd, I was out there earlier today in a heat, and I would have to best describe it as a deadly gauntlet out there for the inexperienced. Fortunately, all of our competitors here today are very experienced, and the waves, they're going to need that experience to handle these conditions. 10 to 12 foot, occasional 15-foot sets coming in. Mostly out of the west, but occasionally out of the north, and those are the deadly ones. You want to stay out of the way of those, pick up the west ones, and we do have light wind conditions making for very glassy waves here, so some radical action in these type of waves.
With big surf like this at the Maury Boogie, we always have some perennial favorites as well as some dark horses in this competition. Jay, who do we look for this year?
This year's no exception. We do have those perennial favorites. Of course, Mike Stewart, 8-time world champion. He lost the title last year. He's very hungry, and he's at home in these big conditions, as is Kainoa McGee, who's also alive. Mike Eppelston, last year's champion, he's someone to look out for. And 2 underground guys, Paul Tarpley here from Hawaii, and from Tahiti, Matt Walbro. And let's not forget Guilherme Tamega from Brazil. We've seen him knock at the door the past few years, so could be his year.
After a short break, our competition will continue with a look at some quarterfinal action. The Maury Bodyboard World Championship on ESPN.
Okay, now it's time to go down to the beach to check the surf conditions with Jay Reale.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, let's take a look at the conditions here today at Malibu. It's a good news, bad news kind of thing. The good news, we finally have some surf for a Bud Tour event. It's about 2 to 4 foot on the face of the waves. The bad news, the tide's going out, and the swell isn't exactly from the optimum direction, so it's kind of closing out a bit here for the surfers. Light winds today, that's not really a factor. It's a cool day on the beach, about 70 right now. Should burn off to a sunny afternoon, and the water 70 degrees, very balmy here for Southern California. A great day in store. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Jay.
Jay Reale spoke with him after his win.
Mike Stewart, the victor here today, in some pretty incredible conditions. I know you were loving it out there. Talk about the waves in the final.
Yeah, it was as good as you can ask for, about 4 to 6 feet and really hollow. Ideal bodyboarding conditions.
An increase in international competitors out there. Does that up the ante? Does that make the level of competition even higher for you guys?
Yeah, it's a lot more competitive and gives me something to shoot for. I'm really stoked we got international guys over here because I really like to compete on that level.
All right, well, state-of-the-art performance from 8-time world champion Mike Stewart. Great performance today, Mike.
Thanks, Jay.
Okay, back to you guys.